Have you ever felt trapped? Not by physical walls, but by invisible chains you've built around yourself? Listen up, because right now, in this very moment, you're sitting on a gold mine of potential that's being suffocated by your own limited thinking. Your limitations aren't your prison. They're actually your greatest invitation to freedom. And I'm about to show you exactly how accepting those limitations will be the most powerful move you'll ever make in your life. This is about understanding something profound that most people never grasp in their entire lifetime. Those limitations you've been fighting, running from, hiding behind, they're not your enemy. They're your roadmap to true liberation. Imagine for a moment you're a builder. You've got raw materials, but you also have constraints: budget, time, structural requirements. A great builder doesn't curse those limitations. They transform them into genius. They see boundaries not as barriers, but as the very framework that gives shape to their most extraordinary creations. Your life works exactly the same way. Every single constraint you face, financial, physical, educational, emotional, isn't blocking your path. It's defining your path. When you stop wrestling with what you cannot do and start dancing with what you can, magic happens. Real, transformative, breathtaking magic. Think about the most successful people you know. They didn't succeed despite their limitations. They succeeded because they understood their limitations intimately. They made those constraints their closest allies, their most trusted advisors in the journey of personal evolution. Freedom isn't about having no restrictions. Freedom is about choosing how you respond to those restrictions. It's about turning what looks like a wall into a window, what seems like a dead end into a launching pad for something extraordinary. The moment you start seeing your limitations not as punishment, but as personalized training designed specifically for your growth, everything changes. Your perspective shifts from victim to strategist, from passive observer to active architect of your own destiny. Most people spend their entire lives running from their limitations, creating elaborate narratives about why they can't achieve their dreams. They build complex excuses, layer upon layer of rationalization, instead of doing the one thing that would actually liberate them: accepting their current reality with brutal honesty. Acceptance doesn't mean surrender. It means clear-eyed recognition. When you truly accept where you are, your skills, your resources, your current situation, you stop wasting energy fighting phantoms and start channeling that energy into strategic movement. You become a laser-focused missile of potential, cutting through obstacles with precision and purpose. Your limitations are like the banks of a river. They don't stop the water, they channel its power. Without those banks, the river would be a chaotic, unfocused flood. With them, it becomes a force capable of carving through mountains, generating electricity, sustaining entire ecosystems. Consider this: every single breakthrough in human history emerged not from unlimited resources, but from someone who understood their constraints so well that they transformed them into their greatest advantage. Innovation isn't about having everything. It's about doing everything with what you have. Your limitations are the secret language of your potential. They whisper the exact blueprint of your unique journey, revealing paths that nobody else can see. When you stop comparing your river to someone else's ocean, you start respecting the power of your own current. The world doesn't reward generalists who do everything averagely. The world celebrates specialists who master their specific terrain, and mastery begins the moment you stop fighting your limitations and start listening to them. They're not your enemies. They're your most honest mentors, revealing exactly where you need to focus, grow, and transform. Think about an athlete training for the Olympics. They don't waste time lamenting what they cannot do. They study their body's specific limitations, design precision training around those constraints, and turn what others see as weaknesses into their most strategic advantages. Your life works on the exact same principle. Limitations are like a navigation system for your dreams. They're not roadblocks. They're GPS coordinates guiding you toward your most authentic path. Every constraint carries within it the seeds of creative solution. Every boundary holds the potential for breakthrough, if you're willing to look at it with curiosity instead of frustration. When you embrace your limitations, you enter a state of radical empowerment. Suddenly, you're not a victim of circumstances. You become the architect of possibility. You learn to see restrictions not as concrete walls, but as malleable frameworks waiting for your creative touch, your strategic genius. The journey of accepting your limitations is not for the faint-hearted. It requires courage, raw, unfiltered courage to look at yourself without judgment, to examine your constraints with the precision of a surgeon and the compassion of a loving mentor. Most people live their entire lives running from their limitations, creating elaborate stories about why they can't achieve their dreams. They build intricate fortresses of excuses, constructing walls so high that they can't even see the possibilities lying just beyond their self-imposed boundaries. But true freedom? True freedom begins the moment you stop fighting what is and start working with what you have. It's about understanding that your limitations are not sentences of defeat, but invitations to creative problem solving. They are the universe's way of whispering, "Here's your unique path. No one else can walk it but you." Imagine your limitations as a custom-designed map. Every boundary is a contour line, every constraint a landmark. They're not there to restrict you. They're there to guide you toward the most authentic expression of your potential. When you start reading this map with curiosity instead of frustration, magic happens. Your constraints are like a sculptor's chisel. They don't limit the creation, they define it. A sculptor doesn't curse the marble's imperfections. They see those very imperfections as the key to revealing the masterpiece hidden within the stone. Your life works exactly the same way. Your limitations are not random obstacles. They are precision-engineered tools designed to carve out your most extraordinary path. Every single constraint you face is actually a customized training program created specifically for your personal growth and transformation. Consider how nature works. A tree doesn't grow by fighting its environment. It grows by adapting to it. Its roots find water by understanding the terrain's limitations. Its branches spread by working within the constraints of sunlight and soil. Your personal growth follows the exact same principle of intelligent adaptation. The moment you stop seeing limitations as enemies and start treating them as strategic allies, is the moment true empowerment begins. These constraints are not walls blocking your progress. They are the very scaffolding upon which you'll construct your most remarkable achievements. They're not preventing your success. They're precisely defining its most authentic pathway. Imagine your limitations as a complex navigation system, constantly recalculating your route. Each constraint is a GPS coordinate, guiding you toward destinations you couldn't have discovered through conventional paths. When you learn to read this map with curiosity and intelligence, you transform what others see as obstacles into your most strategic advantages. Freedom isn't about having no restrictions. Freedom is about having the wisdom to understand your specific restrictions and the creativity to turn them into your most powerful launching pad. It's about becoming so intimately familiar with your constraints that you can dance with them, choreographing a performance of personal transformation. Your limitations carry within them a profound wisdom that most people never take the time to understand. They are not random barriers, but intricate messages from your deepest self, revealing exactly where you need to focus, grow, and evolve. Consider how a river doesn't fight its banks, but uses them to generate power, to create movement, to carve entire landscapes. Your personal constraints work identically. They're not preventing your flow. They're channeling your potential into its most precise and powerful expression. Every single breakthrough in human history emerged not from unlimited resources, but from someone who understood their limitations so profoundly that they transformed them into their greatest competitive advantage. Innovation isn't about having everything. It's about doing everything with what you have, precisely and strategically. The world rewards not those who do everything averagely, but those who master their specific terrain. Your limitations are actually your unique competitive landscape, the very ground where your most extraordinary achievements will be born. They're not holding you back, they're defining your most authentic path. When you stop comparing your journey to someone else's and start respecting the power of your own current, you enter a state of radical self-acceptance. Suddenly, you're not a victim of circumstances. You become the architect of possibility, reading the map of your constraints with curiosity and strategic intelligence. The journey of understanding your limitations is like learning a secret language of personal transformation. Each constraint speaks volumes about your potential, whispering strategies that nobody else can hear, revealing pathways uniquely designed for your growth. Successful individuals don't waste energy fighting what they cannot change. They become masters of adaptation, turning what looks like a limitation into their most strategic weapon. Your constraints are not random obstacles. They're precision-engineered tools, crafted specifically to unlock your most extraordinary potential. Imagine your limitations as a complex blueprint of your personal evolution. Every boundary is a contour line, every restriction a landmark guiding you toward destinations you couldn't have imagined through conventional thinking. When you learn to read this map with intelligence and curiosity, you transform what others perceive as weaknesses into your most powerful advantages. Think about how nature operates. A tree doesn't struggle against its environment. It adapts intelligently. Its roots find water by understanding terrain limitations. Its branches spread by working within constraints of sunlight and soil. Your personal growth follows this same principle of strategic adaptation. Freedom isn't about eliminating restrictions. Freedom is about having the wisdom to understand your specific limitations and the creativity to transform them into launching pads for extraordinary achievement. It's about becoming so intimately familiar with your constraints that you can dance with them, choreographing a performance of personal metamorphosis. Your limitations are not your enemy. They're your most honest mentor, your most precise GPS, your personal roadmap to freedom. The moment you stop fighting what you cannot do and start celebrating what you can do, everything changes. This isn't about settling. This is about strategic transformation, about understanding that true power doesn't come from having no restrictions, but from becoming so intelligently adaptable that no restriction can hold you back. You are not defined by your limitations. You are defined by how you choose to respond to them. Right now, you have a choice. You can continue seeing your constraints as barriers, or you can start viewing them as the very framework that will give shape to your most extraordinary life. Every single constraint carries within it the potential for breakthrough, for innovation, for personal evolution. The world doesn't need another person who follows standard paths. The world needs you, precisely configured, strategically designed, uniquely positioned to create something only you can create. Your limitations are not your weakness. They are your signature, your blueprint, your personal invitation to greatness. Freedom begins when you stop running from yourself and start dancing with your constraints. When you turn what looks like a wall into a window, what seems like a dead end into a launching pad for something extraordinary. If this resonated with you, if you're ready to transform your limitations into your greatest power, hit that subscribe button. Your journey of radical self-acceptance starts right here, right now. Let's do this together.